Hi guys, I'm Partsful. I also go by Will, and I'm back with another Walgreens supplies haul, mostly because I have no self-control when it comes to the back to school sales at Walgreens. So I got a bunch of stuff and I figured I would share with you what I got, and I'm just gonna adjust that there a little bit. And swatch them for you so you guys can see what I got. This is just the general layout of things here. I have one wine-colored Sharpie. I got these Pilot friction erasable highlighters, which I thought were pretty cool. I always need more metallic pens, so these are the G2 Pilot Metallics, and I really love Pilot stuff, especially these pens. They're very, very ink saturated. And then my friend and I saw these when we were there. These are, let's see if the focus is, Sarasa brand, and I think they're by Zebra. This is a porous pen, and this is I think this one's a ballpoint pen or something, but we'll see how they swatch. For these pens, I do know for a fact that there are more than those colors. These ones, there was a black that I didn't get because I didn't really want another black marker because I have a million of them. And these, I know there are more colors, but I just got the ones that interested me. But yeah, so I'm going to cut here and come back in a quick second with all of this unpackaged and with a sketchbook ready to swatch all the stuff. Alright? Awesome. See you in a bit. Alright, I am back at a new angle with my sketchbook. Just so you guys know, for these, because there are so many different things and so many different pens, I'm not actually going to have them all laid out. I'm just going to bring them in from the side. They are all unpackaged over on the side here, but I'm just going to go bit by bit so that things are a little bit more manageable for me. But we will start with the friction highlighters. Also, if those are any are wondering, I am doing this at a different angle because the last time I tried this, when I was trying to swatch, it was very, very difficult to actually swatch. So everything is at a slight angle, so it's a little bit easier for me. But we have these friction highlighters. I'm not really sure how to lay them out here. Let's put it like that. There were 6 of them, but there were 2 yellows in the packages because I'm assuming because yellow is a very, very common highlighter color, so I just left that one out. These ones do say they both erase clean and they highlight in pastel, so I guess we'll have to see how well that's gonna work. So I will put these off to the side. Apologies, I'm not really a very great organizational person, so I'm sorry if me throwing my supplies off to the side is concerning for anyone. Alright, so I'm not sure how far you can see that, but it is in the screen. So this is the pink. I don't like how that P turned out. Time to test the eraser. See if this actually works. That is surprisingly good for a marker erasing. It's not completely clean. I bet it could be if I erased harder, but it is pretty clean for erasing a marker, which is honestly impressive. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to put that there, and I will erase a section of it. It does take a little bit to erase, and as you can see up at the top, it does sort of shove the color away a little bit and doesn't necessarily I guess it's kind of like a smear, but that might just be from not waiting for it to completely dry first. I'm not really sure. Here's the yellow, which I'm always hesitant about with yellow highlighters because just due to the types and how neon yellow highlighters can be, I'm always very hesitant to grab them because you never know how neon the yellow is going to be. But the yellow seems to be pretty bright here, without being too eye-blindingly bright. So that's pretty cool. These highlighters are also doing a surprising thing, and they're not pilling this paper, which is always really nice. Ooh, I like that green color a lot. That is very much a pastel green, which is not common for standard green highlighters. I might have to like get my hands on this particular one more often if I can find it, because that is a really pretty green. I'd say it's like a minty green, and that's one of my favorite shades of green. But yeah, I'm always concerned about when I'm using highlighters as actual markers for they pill the paper because they're not really made for going over multiple places at once and scribbling in big areas, even though that's how I use them. But these seem to be doing pretty well so far. I don't really see much of a problem. And then last but not least, the purple, which I'm pretty excited about. Oh, that is a really nice pastel purple. That is definitely a color I'm going to use. I think out of the 5 of these, my favorites are the green and the purple, mostly because those are colors that are just a very nice color that stand out in comparison to a lot of other highlighters. The pink is very nice too, and I do like the yellow. The blue is just sort of average for me. I don't really see a difference between that and other blue highlighters besides the fact it's erasable, but I really like the green and the purple. Let me just bring this up so you guys can see a little bit better. I'm not actually sure if I can do that. I might have to zoom in. There we go. So I'm not sure how quality that's actually going to be because I'm not used to zooming in on this camera, but yeah, those are how those colors look, and I really, really like them. We will have to see how they compare to the rest of the markers that I got, but I think these are really, really nice highlighters, and I'm definitely going to be using them for blocking in, I mostly use them for blocking in spaces around my sketches, and I think I'm definitely going to have to use these. Alright, so I'm going to cut again and switch to the next marker set, or pen set, whichever. Alright, we're back, and I have the Pilot G2 mechanical pens with me today. I actually have used this brand in this particular sort of ink before. This is my usual silver gel pen. I use a Pilot G207 for my silver highlights on any art that I do. I actually don't know if that's gonna focus because of the glare. But these are the same, just in different colors. I might actually have a blue one, but I don't know where it went. So I'm just pretty excited to try out these new metallic colors just because I think they're cool and I like using metallic pens. I'm hoping that these are a little bit less smearable than gel pens. I do have an issue with that whenever I use a gel pen, and I haven't yet gotten that issue with my silver metallic G2 here, but we'll have to see how it goes. I might have to do a smear test here or something. So this is the pink. I hope my head is not in camera. Alright, and I'm just gonna... That does smear a lot, but then again, I didn't really wait for it to dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put another block here. Oh, as a warning as well, when you buy these, at least when I bought them, I don't know if you can see it here, but they do have this little, like, blue thing covering the top, so just be aware of that and take it off before you actually, like, try and use the pens. I think that's just common for most of them. But, I don't think I need to do another smear test, with any of the other colors, since I did do that with the pink. It does seem to smear, but then again, hopefully you would wait for it to dry, unlike me, who just went, oh yeah, I'm just gonna run my finger over that entire thing. There we go. There's the blue. I do like the pink because it's kind of a wine color, but it's also desaturated, so it's not like a really obnoxious metallic pink. Then there's the green. Could probably color that box in a little bit better, but I am working at an angle that I'm not usually used to working at, so oops. Apologies for if that bothers anyone. And then the purple. The purple is a really nice shade of purple as well, but I might be biased just because purple is one of my favorite colors next to green. I do think it's a little bit dark, and while they are metallic, they aren't super obviously metallic. This is the silver, and I'll just put this here so that you guys can see. I swear I can spell silver. It does have that metallic sheen when you adjust it to the light, but it is very subtle. This does, however, because these are all opaque metallics, they all show up on toned paper really, really well. I don't actually have toned paper to show you guys, unfortunately. I kind of wish I did, but they do show up really well in toned paper, so I highly recommend them. I don't particularly think there's anything special about these or their colors. I just think they're neat. Alright, so I will then be moving on to the next set. So, back in a flash. And I'm back once again, this time with these Sarasa porous pens. Sarasa. These were like $1 each at the store. I forgot to list prices, but these are kind of like a fine tip, like it kind of looks like a felt pen or a fine liner or something. I'm not really sure, but if they are fine liners, these would be great for sketching for me. Let's see, okay, focus. Yeah, there we go. Because I do like to sketch in fine liners, but I know a lot of people don't. But I figured that these are pretty cheap and not as expensive, so if they're pretty good, then I might find a new sketching material. I think they're a little bit too thin for filling in lots of areas, but maybe for lining or something like that. Alright, so we'll start with the red. As I said earlier, there was a black, but I wasn't really interested in the black, so I didn't pick it up. That is surprisingly more faded than I thought it would be. I thought from the color it might be like a darker red. But it's not bad. It's like just very interesting to see it so faded. That is the orange, which on its own for writing doesn't really seem very like special, but when it's like scribbled like that, it's very, very bright, and I think I like how neon it kind of turns out without being too eye bleeding. Here's the yellow. Nothing too special, but again, like when you layer it, that's when it, or not layer, when you like scribble it in an area, it does really show the color a lot better than if you're just writing with it. So who knows? Maybe this is not a good pen or marker to color with, but something that would bring an interesting color to the table if you want to fill in small areas. I do really like this green though. It's a nice bright lime green, and that's one that I think is underrated. This dark green is really more of like a bluish green, which I don't mind, but it does not really look like a green. It looks more like a teal. There's the blue. I should probably do like water tests with these and Copic tests, but I think for now swatching it is going to be fine because I'm not actually planning on using this with any of my Copics. I think the blues are just kind of average. I don't really see much special about them, and in fact, I think the differences between their colors is so subtle they didn't really need two blues, but for some people, perhaps they would like two blues. This is the purple. Again, I'm not really seeing much super special about this purple. It's maybe a bit of a darker purple than usual, but nothing too special. Nice to sketch in probably though for like a top line sort of thing, because you want the darkest colors on top. And then so the fuchsia, this is pink. I don't know why I just didn't call it pink, but and that's just like a standard like sort of dark pinkish color. It's the brown. This is actually a surprisingly sepia color. I was thinking it was going to be like a dark brown or more like muddy brown, but no, that's like that's a very nice sepia sort of tone, so I might definitely use that. I will definitely be using that one for sketching. And then the gray. And this is why I didn't really get the black, because I didn't really see the point of it if this gray was this dark, because this was the one that I did test out. I do like the gray, and I like how it's darker than a silver. I think it'd just be a nice color to sort of lighten up the heaviness of sketches if I ever want to sketch in pen, instead of just using a ballpoint pen or a black marker all the time. But yeah, these are actually pretty good. Flipping it over to the other side, I don't see any bleed, so I think these would be good liners. I think they'd be good for sketching in if you like to sketch in pen and like to sketch in colors. But I think they're just a nice, pretty cheap pen. I don't know how waterproof they are, and I probably should do a water test, but I think they're just, I'm not really going to be using them for anything super, super duper, like, fancy, so I just think they'd be cool to have around to sketch in. But yeah, and then the last thing I have are the pens. So I will be right back as I switch those out. And then I am back with the Zebra Sarasa 07 pens. I'm not sure how much of a difference these are from like the fine liner marker things that I have, but I guess we'll find out. I'm also not sure if this is like a yellow or like a green. I'm thinking it's supposed to be a green. But as I said, for these there are more colors. I just wasn't really interested in them. And this definitely does feel more like a ballpoint pen as opposed to those other markers, which are liners. It feels a little bit more light and sketchy and a little bit more likely to have a bit more pen pressure, whereas liners don't really have pen pressure. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but this feels more like it would... I guess like if you're looking for more of a natural ballpoint pen feeling, I would possibly say these feel more like just a general ballpoint pen. It also, however, might just be that they're like new pens, so I'm not really sure. These do clearly, though, have a different ink in them. Apparently these have color names, and I didn't actually look. The other ones don't, just these ones. So this one is apparently cobalt. So I should check the other ones and rewrite those names. This one is Kelly Green. This one is Olive. Doesn't really look like an olive. The packaging does, but the actual color just kind of looks like a lime. This one is Indigo. I don't know if that's going to focus. And this was actually the one that I was pretty excited about getting because a dark indigo blue pen is always really cool. especially because it almost seems black, but you can use it to make things just a little bit less stark when you're drawing. I still think there's not that much difference between the indigo and the cobalt. I kind of wish the cobalt was a little bit lighter, but I think the indigo is a really cool color, and the cobalt's also pretty neat. This is fuchsia, so this is an actual fuchsia, not just a pink. Violet. Here we go. It's surprisingly bright when it's actually blocked in, but again, not super like unique in terms of a purple pen color. And then this is port, which I believe is like a wine color. It's kind of like a brownish mahogany sort of color, and I actually do really like this color. This is a color I was pretty excited about. The other reason is because the other thing I got, and this is last but not least, is just a wine-colored Sharpie. So I will put that here. And this is obviously going to bleed, but here's the thick tip. And I really do like this color. I actually had this in a pilot color, or pilot pen a while back, but I used that one up. So I was really hoping to get a color similar to it again, and so I got the Sharpie in case I want to block some colors in. Overall, I think these are all pretty cool. I wouldn't use them for anything that's super like important, and anything but I wouldn't use anything but the highlighters for like big areas. But I actually really do like how all of these look, and I think that for the price, which was like maybe $1 a pen, it was actually pretty good for some new sketching materials, and I'm pretty excited to try them out and use them for actual. Sorry guys, the last bit of my footage got cut off because my phone ran out of, storage. But overall, yeah, that is my Walgreens sketchbook tour, I'm sorry. My Walgreens back to school cheap art supplies haul. And yeah, I think it's some pretty cool cheap art supplies for the price that you get, and I am especially excited to use these and these. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, things you want me to answer, you can put those down in the comments, or contact me on any of my social media, which is also down below. And this isn't a sketchbook tour, so I don't really have many things to link. So yeah, thank you all so much for your support. Bye!